Rome's story begins with a famous legend. It tells of twin brothers, Romulus and Remus. They were said to be sons of the god Mars. An evil king ordered them to be drowned in the Tiber River, but a servant pitied them and set them afloat in a basket. A she-wolf found them and cared for them. Later, a shepherd raised the boys. As men, they decided to build a city. They chose a spot near the Tiber River on 7 hills. This was supposedly in 753 BCE. Romulus later killed Remus in an argument and became the first king of Rome. This story was important to Romans. It gave them a divine and heroic origin. Before Rome became a powerful republic, it was a small settlement. Early Romans were farmers and herders. They lived in simple huts. The area was influenced by other cultures nearby. The Etruscans, a sophisticated people to the north, taught Romans many things. These included their alphabet and building techniques. Greeks also had colonies in southern Italy. Their ideas about art, religion, and philosophy reached Rome. For many years, Rome was ruled by kings. 7 kings are said to have ruled Rome. The last kings were Etruscan. This period helped shape Rome's early character and set the stage for future growth. Around 509 BCE, the Romans overthrew their last king. His name was Tarquinius Superbus, or Tarquin the Proud. They did not want one person to have all the power anymore, so they started a new form of government. This was called a republic. In the Roman Republic, citizens could elect their leaders. Important decisions were made by the Senate. The Senate was a council of wise, wealthy men. This change was a very big step. It allowed more people to participate in governing their city. The idea of a republic would influence many countries in the future. Life in the early republic was not always easy. There were often struggles between different groups of people. The patricians were the rich, noble families. The plebeians were the common people, like farmers and craftsmen. At first, only patricians could hold powerful positions. Plebeians fought for more rights over many years. One important victory for them was the creation of the 12 tables. These were laws written down for everyone to see. This meant that laws were applied more fairly. This struggle shaped Roman society and its laws. It showed the importance of fighting for justice. Rome did not stay a small city-state for long. It began to expand its power. This happened through many wars. Rome fought its neighbors in Italy. Gradually, it conquered the entire Italian peninsula. A key part of Rome's success was its army. Roman soldiers were well-trained and disciplined. They were organized into legions. Rome also built excellent roads. These roads helped the army move quickly. This military strength and infrastructure allowed Rome to control more and more land. The desire for security and resources often drove this expansion. One of Rome's biggest challenges came from Carthage. Carthage was a powerful city in North Africa. Rome and Carthage fought 3 long wars. These were called the Punic Wars. They lasted for over 100 years. The most famous Carthaginian general was Hannibal. He bravely crossed the Alps mountains with his army and elephants. He defeated Roman armies in Italy, but Rome never gave up. In the end, Rome won all 3 wars. Carthage was destroyed. Winning these wars made Rome the master of the Western Mediterranean Sea. This victory was a turning point for Roman power. After defeating Carthage, Rome continued to expand. Roman armies conquered Greece, Spain, and parts of Asia Minor. The Republic grew very large and wealthy. But this success also brought problems. Powerful generals became like kings. They had loyal armies. Sometimes these generals fought each other for power. One of the most famous generals was Julius Caesar. He was a brilliant military leader. He conquered Gaul, which is modern-day France. He wrote about his victories. This made him very popular with the Roman people. His ambition was clear to many in the Senate. Julius Caesar became very powerful. Some senators feared he wanted to become king. They thought this would end the Republic. In 44 BCE, a group of senators assassinated Caesar in the Senate House. His death did not save the Republic. Instead, it led to more civil wars. Caesar's adopted son, Octavian, eventually defeated all his rivals. He was very clever and careful. In 27 BCE, Octavian was given the title Augustus. He became the first Roman emperor. This marked the end of the Roman Republic. It was the beginning of the Roman Empire. Augustus brought peace and stability after many years of conflict. The rule of Augustus started a long period of peace. This was called the Pax Romana, or Roman peace. It lasted for about 200 years. During this time, the Roman Empire was mostly peaceful. Trade flourished across the vast territories. Goods came from all corners of the empire, from Britain in the north to Egypt in the south, from Spain in the west to Syria in the east. Cities grew and people felt secure. The empire was well organized. Governors ruled the provinces. The army kept the borders safe. This era allowed Roman culture to spread and develop significantly. Romans were amazing engineers and builders. They built strong roads that connected the whole empire. Some of these roads are still visible today. They also built aqueducts. These were channels that carried fresh water to cities. This improved hygiene and public health. Romans constructed magnificent public buildings. The Colosseum in Rome was a huge amphitheater. Gladiators fought there for entertainment. The Pantheon, with its giant dome, was a temple to all gods. These structures showed Roman skill and power. They also made city life more comfortable and exciting for many inhabitants. Daily life in ancient Rome varied greatly. Rich Romans lived in comfortable houses called domus. These often had courtyards and beautiful mosaics. They enjoyed feasts and had many slaves. Poorer Romans lived in crowded apartment buildings called insulae. These could be noisy and dangerous. However, everyone could enjoy public entertainment. Gladiatorial games and chariot races were very popular. Public baths were also important. People went there to wash, exercise, and meet friends. Family was the center of Roman society. The father, or paterfamilias, had great authority over his household. Later in the empire, significant changes occurred. One important emperor was Constantine. He ruled in the early 4th century CE. Constantine is famous for two main reasons. First, he became a Christian. He ended the persecution of Christians. He made Christianity a legal religion in the empire. This was a huge turning point for Christianity. It grew to become the dominant religion. Second, Constantine moved the capital of the empire. He built a new capital city in the east. It was called Constantinople, modern-day Istanbul. This shifted the empire's focus and resources towards the eastern provinces. The Roman Empire did not last forever. Over time, many problems led to its decline. The empire became very large. It was difficult to govern such a vast area. Economic troubles also grew serious. Taxes became very high. This was hard for ordinary people. The government made more coins, but with less silver. This caused inflation, meaning money lost its value. Trade routes became less safe because of unrest. It became harder to get goods from one place to another. These economic strains weakened the foundations of the empire. Political problems also contributed to the decline. There was a lot of instability at the top. Many emperors were murdered after only a short time in power. Ambitious generals often fought each other in civil wars. The army became too powerful in politics. Soldiers would often decide who became emperor. This constant fighting weakened the central government. Sometimes the empire was even split into western and eastern parts. This division made it harder to respond to threats. The once strong political system began to crumble from within. External threats also increased. Various groups of people, whom the Romans called barbarians, pressed on the empire's borders. These included Germanic tribes like the Goths and Vandals. Some tribes were looking for new lands to settle. Others were pushed by other migrating groups. Sometimes the Romans allowed these groups to settle inside the empire, but often they attacked Roman territory. The Roman army struggled to defend the long frontiers. The city of Rome itself was attacked and looted several times. The traditional date for the fall of the Western Roman Empire is 476 CE. This was when the last Roman emperor in the West was removed from power. Even though the Western Roman Empire fell, Rome's legacy is immense. Its influence can still be seen today. Roman law forms the basis of many legal systems in Europe and around the world. The Latin language, spoken by the Romans, evolved into modern languages like Italian, French, Spanish, Portuguese, and Romanian. English also has many words from Latin. Roman architecture, with its arches and domes, inspired builders for centuries. Ideas about government, citizenship, and republicanism have shaped Western political thought. The story of Rome, its rise and fall, continues to teach us important lessons about civilization.